Hi guys, Liz Truss delivered her first speech on the steps of Number 10 on the same day Boris Johnson left. In her speech, she named her 3 top priorities for her government. What's interesting is what she left out. Now, Truss faces the greatest challenge of any Prime Minister in recent history, and any attempt to resolve these problems in a haphazard way or resort to sticking plasters will likely see her removed from office in a very short period of time. She needs to keep the public on side by providing real support, but she needs to keep the likes of the ERG satisfied by doing the opposite. Let's have a listen to her 3 priorities.
As Prime Minister, I will pursue 3 early priorities. Firstly, I will get Britain working again. I have a bold plan to grow the economy through tax cuts and reform. I will cut taxes to reward hard work and boost business-led growth and investment. I will drive reform in my mission to get the United Kingdom working, building and growing. We'll get spades in the ground to make sure people are not facing unaffordable energy bills, and we will also make sure that we are building hospitals, schools, roads and broadband.
Okay, so this idea that you're going to build the economy, and she starts off by cutting taxes. Well, this has been proven, or has been ridiculed, I should say, by economists. They said this is not going to stimulate the economy. The only way you stimulate the economy is by pumping money into it. Tax cuts are not going to work. You can't undo this recession by cutting taxes. And these taxes are, of course, support for the richest in society. It's not support for people who actually go out and spend money. And I've talked about this before.
Secondly, I will deal hands-on with the energy crisis caused by Putin's war. I will take action this week to deal with energy bills and to secure our future energy supply. Thirdly, I will make...
Okay, before we get to the third one, she says here about energy supply, she's going to take a hands-on approach. Of course, she has no detail here. One of the rumours is that she will freeze energy prices at £1,971. So this is the current rate. This doesn't help a lot of people who are already struggling. There has been requests for her to freeze energy prices at last year's prices. But unless she does that, I think we're still going to see a lot of people struggling.
Make sure that people can get doctor's appointments and the NHS services they need. We will put our health service on a firm footing. By delivering on the economy, on energy and on the NHS, we will put our nation on the path to long-term success.
Okay. And finally, the NHS, putting it on a firm footing, no real detail here. What's concerning about all of this is that Liz Truss is putting in place an ERG cabinet. Most of the people who are in her current cabinet who have been named are members of the ERG. And the ERG, I think, the European Research Group, have pretty much abandoned Brexit as an ideology and are now focusing on protecting the richest in society, be them multimillionaires, billionaires, or large corporations. They want to end regulations that protect the environment, protect workers, and protect the consumer. This is about a real race to the bottom here. Now, the EU may respond to this with tariffs because the UK and the EU signed the TCA agreement a couple of years ago, where the UK and the EU would not allow businesses to have a particular advantage over each other. So UK businesses would not be able to have an unfair advantage over EU businesses and vice versa. This approach, this ERG approach, would be in breach of that. So it's possible that the EU would impose tariffs on the UK if they decide to go down this road of deregulation, ripping up the rule book, tearing up worker protections, environmental protections, animal rights protections, animal welfare protections, I should say. This is a case of Liz Truss being between a rock and a hard place, the rock being the ERG and the hard place being the EU. If she wants to continue to trade with the EU, she'll need to take a much more pragmatic approach when it comes to a lot of these policies that the ERG would like to push through. But if she pisses off the ERG, there's a risk that they will pull out their support for her government, and a few ministers resigning will be enough to bring it down. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.